The Cherry Festival is one of those neat things. You know, I've had the good fortune of living around the country, and you can be in California, you can be in Biloxi, Mississippi, you can be down in Florida, and you mentioned either Traverse City or the National Cherry Festival. People know about it.
This will be 10 years sponsorship of the Cherry Royale Parade, and it's a title sponsorship, DTE Energy. It's probably, everybody refers to it as the granddaddy of the parades. There are 3,500 people running down the parade route where there are 40,000, 50,000 people curbside. And so DTE Energy has always had a huge presence there. And I think one of the coolest things they do to activate the sponsorship that's tied to it is their Rooted in Your Community theme. And they choose a community partner every year that they showcase on a huge float.
The sponsorship of the parade by DTE really means a lot to this community. I mean, we have thousands of people that came out for that. I was just amazed.
It would be misleading you if I didn't say that my first impression was panic. Because Cherry Festival is a huge event in this community.
You know, hundreds of thousands of people view that parade.
You next think, oh, what a great opportunity. We've always kind of dreamed of being able to have CRA in front of that many people, but we would never be able to do that on our own.
Anyone who gets the endorsement of a large feature such as DTE is obviously going to see some residual benefit. I mean, the Cherry Royale Parade is a big feature of the Cherry Festival.
And I've always gone over there and been fascinated with the artwork and the workmanship and what goes into preparing that huge float that's pulled on a long tractor trailer bed.
At first blush, it looked scary and big and also like the best opportunity that had come our way in a long time.
We actually started thinking about the possibility of maybe DTE partnering up here for our first LEED certified house. But practically before I could even do anything about that, I get a call from Debbie Galick.
We'd like you to be our, focus for the parade. We were very excited, and of course the whole project grew from there into this massive undertaking with 2 floats, a flatbed with a rain garden on it.
Our float, I remember, was built as a river flowing down the stream bed and so forth, and then this thing rolled down the road in downtown Traverse City.
And our boat, which had fake waves around it, and the whole undertaking was just a blast and a super opportunity for us to show a much broader audience what we were about.
They had actually built a very cute float that attracted a lot of attention.
Right before the whole Cherry Festival started, Debbie did fall through the roof of her garage, I believe it was. And this was a very big undertaking, so there were some moments like, wow, how's this going to happen? She was definitely the driver of everything.
But I'll tell you what gets scary every year, and Debbie Galick, who expedites the sponsorship for the company, would bear this out. When you stop over to Hastings Street and watch them building the float for several days leading up to Saturday, and I always stop over there a couple times to see how the progress is going on the float, and I'm always wondering how they're going to finish this thing, by Saturday morning and get it onto the parade route.
But it all came off, and the public got to see this really spectacular float.
And in fact, some of the pieces that were developed to illustrate how the natural river system should work when they're healthy, which is what our business is, those have lived on. They live at the Boardman River Nature Center now. Thousands of kids every year get to go through and see these gigantic stoneflies and frogs and turtles and stuff. So it was neat. It was a permanent display fixture in the community even after that particular parade was over.
Conservation and natural resources and all of those things are important to DTE.
I would say that DTE Energy is one of the most community-minded companies that we deal with here in this city and this community. If we're talking about the long-term sponsorship of the Cherry Royale Parade, which I think gives people a high level of sort of top-of-mind awareness, the 10 years that you did that, lets people know DTE is a part of this community.
DTE Energy has really learned how to make sponsorships work the way they're supposed to.
When the folks in the green DTE shirts rolled into town for these events, we were very impressed.
I mean, when you have sophisticated partners like DTE Energy who understand what they're trying to accomplish through those sorts of partnerships, it makes it a lot of fun. It makes it demanding, but it's also an awful lot of fun.
People like Bert Urbani and Debbie Galick made our job to pull this event off very easy, really trouble-free.
I've been lucky enough to work for several organizations that DTE has supported, and it's always been a wonderful experience. The staff is always super professional, but also a lot of fun and very friendly, and they work well with anybody that comes their way.
They always do approach these issues as partners. They don't approach it as if they're going to call all the shots. They don't dictate, they dialogue. And it's been a wonderful experience for me being involved in city government to work with DTE.